Ugly fights over immigration aren't an invention of Twitter or Donald Trump or dreamers. The U.S. has been wrangling over this issue basically from the beginning. How to balance smart policy with basic humanity has always been elusive and somewhat divisive, but the chasm specifically on immigration between these parties has grown rapidly. One example of that is the Jordan Commission of the 90s. Congress passed the Immigration Act of 1990 with big numbers. We're talking about 89 ayes in the Senate, 264 to 118 in the House. Part of the bill called for the formation of a 9-member Commission on Legal Immigration Reform, aimed at identifying the problems already baked into the system and then ways to improve them. The Democratic president, Bill Clinton, chose the person who would ultimately chair that committee through its completion. It was former Democratic Representative Barbara Jordan, a lawyer from Texas. She had become a leading liberal voice during the Watergate years, and she was considered a party elder.
We have been the instrument of change in the past. We know what needs to be done. We know how to do it.
In 1995, the Bipartisan Commission, which came to be known as the Jordan Commission, issued a preliminary report, and then a final document in 97 which largely echoed the original findings and recommendations. A few takeaways out of all this. The Commission said, first, immigration can be very good, and civic unity is healthy. However, quote, immigrants with relatively low education and skills may compete for jobs and public services with the most vulnerable of Americans, particularly those who are unemployed or underemployed. Another, the Commission recommends the elimination of the admission of unskilled workers. Unless there is another compelling interest, such as in the entry of nuclear families and refugees, it is not in the national interest to admit unskilled workers. And as for that so-called chain migration law, the Commission told Congress, stop it.
We recommend as a priority the closest family members, spouses and minor children of citizens of legal immigrants and parents of citizens are admitted as expeditiously as possible.
In the end, Jordan's team backed the entry of about 50,000 refugees a year and 550,000 immigrants per year, who they say should be Americanized, cultivating, quote, a shared commitment to the American values of liberty, democracy, and equal opportunity. So, what did the top Democrat in the country have to say to all this? The New York Times ran this quote in 95. Mr. Clinton said the proposal appears to reflect a balanced immigration policy that makes the most of our diversity while protecting the American workforce so that we can better compete in the emerging global economy. Clearly, you can see here, when it comes to immigration and the RD divide, times and talking points have changed.